Hey Stamping friends, welcome to the Joyous Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachael Coon and it's our Wonderful Wednesday. Today I'll be using lots of new products from the new annual catalog that just came available yesterday. I'm super excited to show you some of my new favorites. Going to hold my flip and we'll get started. All right. So as always, today's a Wonderful Wednesday, which means when you order from my online store using our hostess code for the day, then you will get the Wonderful Wednesday embellishments. For this month, we have the resin stars that match with the Your Biggest Fan suite or Hey Sports Fan suite and that stamp set. These are great. There's 4 different colors and they're just overall a great item to have. So they have adhesive on the back and they can stick to your projects. That will be yours if you order on any Wednesday on the month of May. All right, so that was the hostess code. Let me show you. This is also the hostess code for the month, which means this is the code you want to put in when you check in and you go to my online store. You can even go to stampinup.com and still use that hostess code there. But this is only for May. Every month I have to get a new code because this other code will expire. Let me go ahead and show you the card we're making in our video today. It is super cool. Like, I can't even tell you. So for me, when I get a new stamp set or dies, it's hard when it's a brand new catalog because there's hardly any ideas out there. So this was a fun creation of my own, just playing with it. And I'll show you how to make this. And the really fun thing about the dies and the stamp set that we're using. So I want to point out the back side, which I rarely do of my cards, but this time is because of the stamp set we're using really highlights this idea of stamping on the back. And let me show you. I'm using the limited edition stamp set. This was Stampin' Up's Angel Policy set. So what that means is when you make cards that you want to sell, you need to make sure you have this image underneath or somewhere on your card. So I like to put it on the back so it looks like kind of like a greeting, like a hallmark on the back, you know where it came from. But the Angel Policy is in place because if you think about it, these are all artistically drawn or created. And we need to make sure we give credit to those people who actually put the effort into making it, that image. And so if you're making money off of it, then the Angel Policy is in place. And you need to stamp the copyright by Stampin' Up. If it's just for giving to friends or anything like that, you don't need to have that on there. So some of you know that I do sell cards, so I always have that on the bottom or the back of my projects or tags that I make. So that way I'm within the Angel Policy that Stampin' Up has created. All right. So this one has great sayings. I use the handcrafted from the heart, and this one already has that little copyright on there. There's a single copyright version of it, or there's some that do not have it, like the Paper Hug doesn't have it, and the Just For You does not have it. So those two, if I were to stamp that on the back, I would just stamp that one also separately. I love the idea of one stamp and done. So these ones are perfect for that type of stuff. Hand stamped, super, super cute. All right, let me show you what we use for this one because they're all pretty much new things. I use the Fabulous frames, which look like this, and I have them just layered on top of each other where I die cut one out of our DSP, which is the Hues of Happiness. That's also new paper there. And then the same rectangle here with the inside of it, I die cut with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine the middle frame, which then created 2 more pieces for this piece in here. And then I just die cut another frame using this cool oval one, which also does an outside frame and an inside circle. And that stitches on the frame as well. It is really, really cool. But we don't want to forget the inside here. I rarely actually put die cut images in the inside, but this one was super cool. This as part of the corners, and there's 2 different designs for this one. That's a very basic, or I have this fun kind of floral writing script look to it. And the cool thing about it is that it's one whole piece. I put this on my cardstock, I run it through, and I instantly have the 4 corners. it is amazing. Okay. So I think I've told you about mostly everything that's new. Just we'll keep on telling you as we start to build this card. However, I am changing the color scheme a little bit. So this one's in the Gorgeous Grape. This one's in the Melon Mamba, because of this type of paper that I have. Let me show you. And this is that Hues of Happiness. And what it has happened is that you can see it kind of goes on a gradient. So we have our purples and blues and greens and yellows and orange looking and pinks on the bottom. So when I cut that out to a 4 by 5 1/4, then I have to pick which shades of colors that will be showing on the card. So the first one was this top half. Now we're doing the bottom half of the DSP. And that just makes me change my card base up just a little bit so that it matches better, because there was no purple on this side. All right. Of course, you can check out my blog, which is in the description below or in comments below, depending on where you're watching this, for all of my measurements for today, just in case I forget to say them or I say them wrong. Like I said, this is the Melon Mambo card base. I have it a regular size at the 8.5 by 5.5, scored at the 4 1/4. We'll set that aside for a minute. And then here are all my die cut pieces. It's kind of like a puzzle when you look at it this way. We got to put this all back together again. This started off as just a 4 by 5.5 piece of DSP. And we're going to attach this all back on there in just a second. Let's go ahead and do our stamping for our oval here. Ooh, and you know what I forgot to grab? Let me go grab it real quick. I used the Gorgeous Grape for this card. Let me go ahead and grab my Melon Mamba. I keep on saying Mamba, but it's Mambo with the B-O. So that's a good way to remember it. Melon Mambo. All right, let's go ahead and stamp that. And we're going to do a paper hug from me, which is the cutest little saying. And that's basically what a handmade card is a paper hug. We'll ink it up by doing a couple taps and put it at just about center. Perfect. While we have this out, let's go ahead and grab that card base, and we're going to actually stamp on the bottom left side. So this will be the front of our card, this will be the back of our card, and when it's laying out flat, it'll be on the left side. We did that heart one earlier. I'm going to go ahead and just do the Just For You stamp here and make that super cute. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of room for underneath. So if I wanted to sell this one, I could just add that copyright image there. In fact, let me grab that out and see how we can add it right now. A lot of times what happens is I forget to do this step, and then I am ready to sell them and the cards aren't ready, and I have to go back and do this to like 100 other stamps, which is best just to stamp it the right way the first time, right? Because it looks nice and it finishes it off. I do have another stamp set that I use on my cards. Actually have my business information as this one right here, but these extra cute ones I love as well. All right, we'll stamp our copyright underneath there. Super cute. And we can put our ink away. Now it's time to assemble. Let's grab some adhesives. We need they're called foam adhesive strips, like this. What it is, it's basically a dimensional on a line. And they come in these long strips, and I usually don't need the whole length, so I will just trim mine down a little bit to the size that I need. Let's flip over our first frame here. We're gonna start with our biggest frame first. So flip it over, and if you wanted to, you can totally frame out the whole thing by measuring it. It's about a little less than 4 and a little less than 5 1/4. So not very good measurements there. So I just am using just strips of it, about 2-inch strips on top and bottom. And then I'm going to put those on the side as well. For this one, ooh, you know what? We'll go all the way up to that corner. For my first card, what I did is I ended up putting dimensionals in each 4 corners, and that worked out just fine as well. This one, I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down to that corner with that 2-inch strip, and let me cut just a little bit more. So I just take my paper snips and go along And there I have some more of the size that I need. Same thing, we'll go to this corner here, because this is going to be our starter, our base. This is where we don't want it to be floppy at all. And get that corner up there at the top. Okay, hopefully that's pretty good. Now we just need to remove the backings of each of these. You can see on the back of this paper, it's super pretty. It's just like the floral print, and it's also in that, I want to say ombre, but it's not really ombre, but it's different colors. We'll call it rainbow flowers. So you can see that, the purples and the pinks and the blues. Amazing paper. All right, flip it over, line it up, hover it over. I'm gonna fix this one because it looks like it's a little bit crooked and we don't want our foam showing through. There we go. We'll do a hover. So it's lined up where you want it to be, and then we'll just press down on each spot. Awesome. Next, we need to grab this weird piece here. This is the inside piece. We're going to flip it over and just put a little bit of liquid glue. So some liquid glue on our corners, a little bit on the bottom. We're going to do this level more flat instead of that dimensionalized side on the frame. Okay, then we'll just line it up to where their matching colors are and sink it in down. And get that better in view, sorry. There we go. Awesome. Next, we're going to do our center frame, and this time we're going to add dimensionals. This one isn't as thick as our first frame, and so it's harder to add those strips even. So I'm just putting 3 dimensionals of the mini ones on the top and bottom of the frame, on the back side, of course. And we're not going to even worry about the sides. We'll remove the backings. Almost, there we go. Flip it over. Make sure our color is going the right way, so it's lined up with the yellow on the top and the pink on the bottom. And just line it up like a puzzle. There we go, press down, looking good. And then let's go ahead and add our square for the inside of our frame there. Just liquid glue again. You kind of see a pattern here that we're doing. The dimension, then glue, dimension, then glue. Just like so. So it looks like that's sunken in now. Awesome. Loving that. And now we're just going to add our circle and our frame, our oval, sorry, for this one. We're also using dimensionals for. So how I like to do this one is I just put about 4 dimensionals on each, kind of like a plus sign here. And then I'm going to do 4 also on this outside oval piece, but just also in that plus sign shape. We don't need to go at the complete circle or oval. Okay, remove the backings. There we go. And line this up where we want it. It looks about centered there. Remove the backings of our frame. And if you wanted to change this up, this frame would be really cute if it was done even in that card-based color or a darker color. I just really like keeping it that basic white. All right, make sure this one's pushed in good. And we should be able to attach it. That backing right there wants to stay on. There we go. Okay. And so you can see it sometimes where it goes over. And so I'm just pushing that in a little bit. Okay, hopefully that looks good. We'll line it up over our oval here and create a bonus frame. Love it. Lastly, we just need now embellish on the front and then also that inside piece, which is our basic white with our corners. Let me set that right there. Let's go ahead and embellish with our basic white twine. Our baker's twine comes in an essentials pack, so it isn't just white alone. It comes with multiple colors. So I'm going to just give you that. When you see me using the white twine, you're going to get all the others as well. I don't like to measure twine. I usually will just cut it on the spool. So I keep it here, and then I'll make my 2 loops pull it through, get it to the size that I want, and just kind of play with it. It doesn't have to be completely perfect because you could even play with it again once it's stuck to the card. See, that one's all twisted. I'm gonna just untwist and then pull it tight. That's okay. It just wants to be twisty for us today. Cut off the ends and grab a glue dot. For the glue dot, we're gonna rip off a piece here so it's easier to see. I have that glue dot there. I'm going to put my knot to the dot, pinch it off with your fingers, and attach it right here on that oval. Again, I'll play with this guy a little bit more later so he's not so twisty. And there we go. He's already looking a little bit better. And then we have these amazing new embellishments. These are called the Glossy Dots. They come in 4 different colors and they sure are glossy. I like that they have the different size and there's a lot of them. I feel like you get a lot for your money with this embellishment for sure. For this one, I use the purple and the blue. This time we're gonna use more of the yellow and the pinks. And we're gonna do kind of a medium size and the smaller size. Right there in that corner, and then we'll go ahead and add, let's do a medium one down here. Super cute. All right, let me go ahead and use our bone folder to get this ready, and then we'll do our very last step, which is the inside corners. So here's our basic white. Take off your corners, flip them over so they're facing down, grab some liquid glue. Either do just dots or a very tiny line. We don't need a lot of glue for this. Okay. Flip them over and just line them up to each of your corners. I've seen some that are done with just the opposite corners instead of all over. So if you prefer that look like this, that would be super cute as well. Or you can continue going with all 4. And this one's a different corner than the one I used for my purple card. So let me show this closer in just a minute and you can see the difference. Flip that over. Put a little bit of your, oh, let's see. There we go. That one's all out. So let me get my Seal Plus. I do 1 in each corner, center, and we can flip it. Okay. I have dimensional backings everywhere today. It must be really static here. Okay. Now we can attach this to the inside by lining it up and pressing down. Super cute. Okay, let me show you the difference real quick, and then we'll be done. Here are corners. There we go. So one's a little bit more fancy, one's a little bit more border-like, or like inside a house maybe. So both are super cute and come from the fabulous frame dies. All right, I hope you guys have had fun learning this cute little card here. Kind of looks like a mirror. It's been all framed. And don't forget to stamp the back of your cards with the copyright Stampin' UP, so that way you can sell your cards or people know who's made it too. And who doesn't want a cute little saying on the back of the card, like the hand stamped or one of a kind creation, definitely made with love. All right, you guys have a great Wednesday. Happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.